10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 6, 6.
Estamos aqui no Hangar 110, no camarim do show do Bulldozer, pouco antes do terceiro show deles nessa mini turnê da América Latina que está acontecendo em agosto de 2024. Hi AC, hi Andy. First of all, what was what your thoughts about the last two shows here in Brazil, in Foz do Iguaçu and Joinville?
We really enjoyed. People was amazing, and in Foz there were people from Paraguay too. Yeah, very nice. And we had a very good time, and people was excited. Yeah.
And it's your third time here in Brazil. In
Yes.
2018 you played in Guaru Extreme Festival,
Yes.
and last year at Setembro Negro Festival, here, both here in São Paulo.
Yes.
Especially for the first time, what's your impressions when you played here first?
I feel like home because I had letters from Brazilian fans since the 80s. So, and we had never had the possibility to play in the 80s, but fortunately we could play recently, and we had always great time. Yes.
And the band ended in the early 90s, and we came back in 2008. In the following year, you released the album Unexpected Fate.
Yes.
And it's a very good album, but it's very interesting that happened is that because you invited very guitar players as guests. For
Yes.
example, Kiko Loureiro from
Yes,
Brazil that played in Angra and
Yes.
Megadeth, and Jennifer Batten from Michael Jackson band. That
Yes,
is
exactly.
the most bizarre that happened. How happened this casting?
Because I worked with both of them. With Jennifer Batten, I published many tracks for the Japanese pop market and animation market, and with Kiko, I was publisher for Europe from Novera for a couple of albums, and I gave them a good partner, which is Avex in Japan, so Angra could finally tour and make a very good success. I mean, they were very successful in Japan also before, but they could finally tour, and Kiko is a god in Japan. So, and I worked a lot in Japan, especially from 1990 until 2008, and so Kiko is a friend. Actually, I supposed to meet him today because he's here in São Paulo, but he is gonna see Angra tonight. Angra playing.
We play here in São Paulo tonight too.
So he has to go to Angra, so he's not. He cannot see Bulldozer. Yeah. But he told me that he bought, when he was 14, he bought Bulldozer Day of Wrath. Yeah. So.
Right.
Yeah.
And you talked about Japan. Bulldozer ever played in Japan?
Yes.
When then the 80s or
No,
more
in
recently?
2010.
2010.
Yes.
Only in Tokyo or
No, Tokyo, Nagoya,
Osaka.
and
Osaka.
Osaka.
Osaka?
Yeah.
In 2001, you released the Erratic single.
What?
Erratic single.
Erratic. Yeah.
Yes, and you also
in
released
2000, I think
21.
21. Yes.
And you also did a very impactful video clip.
Yeah.
What was the response about that?
Not so interesting because the music is not
Typical Bulldozer song.
it's not typical Bulldozer sound of the beginning. So The video is very interesting because
Yes.
there's Steve from DSHS, there's Walter from Motor Drape, and and the concept is very good. I mean, it's a kind of experimental, and it's interesting, but it's not, of course, it's very distant from A Day of Wrath. But I mean, we did also other crazy project in our career, so it's normal to to do something. Maybe in the future we will do something strange or something very particular. We don't like to do always the same things, So.
Yes, we can see in all your stuff that.
Yeah, I mean, we did always different things. We don't like to repeat too much.
I think it's good as a band. You can
I mean, it's
people
it's
change. Why the sound can change?
Yeah, I mean, and then I think it's good also to propose new ideas, because if we propose old ideas or we take ideas from the other bands, it's not something so exciting. I mean, it's not so interesting for our point of view. I mean.
For Google.
Yeah, in fact, every album of Bulldozer is different.
And talking about new Bulldozer album, they're writing something. Do you intend to release something soon or something like that?
You mean in the future?
Yes, in the future.
Oh, we are studying, but we have to find something particular to, otherwise it's better just play live. People maybe likes more to see us live.
And I think that the way that people sell music and they hear music, I think that's something that annoy you, not annoy, but it's something that is different that they were younger, because we buy an album, we play for the music. Today we don't play for the music. Did it affect you?
I didn't understand very well. Can you repeat?
Yes,
Yeah,
no
sorry.
problem. On the early 90s, in the 80s,
Yes.
the way that we hear music, that we consume music,
Yes, we
we
enjoy
pay
music.
for music,
Yeah.
and we enjoy the music. Today we only hear playlists and stuff like that. You don't pay for the music. The streaming service don't pay the musician. This affects you.
I think it's kind of a lack, because honestly, in the 80s, I've seen, especially in the early 80s, we have seen together, for example, Ronnie James Dio, Holy Diver tour. We're just front row, and I can touch Ronnie James. Or we saw in the same way Venom and Metallica in '84. The first and the second gig of the 7 Days of Hell, and it was very different from now.
Mm-hmm.
And I really enjoyed that time. Now, many times this is not the same atmosphere, and I think also the way to play was more rock and roll. Now it's more I don't know. It seems everybody try to get power and not let's say the feeling, the dynamic.
Yes.
So the sounds are very powerful, but the time is kind of boring. It's not
Repetitive.
Yeah, it's different. It's very different. And actually, of course, I belong to that generation, so I really like the music of that time. And nowadays, many bands change it, the way to record music and the way to play music, and it's something very different. I don't know. Many people like it. really like the old school, to be honest. Yeah.
And you talk about Venom. Is it true the legend that Kronos that gave you the nickname Wild?
Yeah, it's true.
So how did it happen?
Yeah, because when I was with him in Zurich, and almost beside him there was Tom Warrior, front row. 300 people to see Metallica and then Venom. So just the very beginning. And I was very wild. I was, taking James Hetfield hair, just shaking his head while he was playing, and I was screaming like a maniac while Kronos was playing, and after the show we could meet and speak with everybody because the venue was small, so, and Kronos called me and said, "You are the wild man." So yeah, and so in the meantime we already recorded Fallen Angel and Another Beer, because we recorded before seeing Venom, and when we prepared the label info, I was writing AC, the Wild Man, but the company who pressed the covers, the sleeves, made a mistake, and instead of AC the Wild Man, just put AC Wild. So I said, okay, I will be AC Wild.
And here in Brazil, when we had access to Bulldozer, I was a child, but for example, Rock Brigade magazine and another fanzines called Bulldozer as Italian Venom. It happened in other countries.
Yeah, that's the Italian Venom was, let's say, a marketing strategy by Roadrunner, because Venom was with Neat Records. They had Slayer, they had Merciful Fate, but they wanted to sell a product to the Venom fans. They had no Venom, so the best way to sell records, Bulldozer record, was to label us as Venom clones. Actually, we took a lot of inspiration from Venom, like many other bands, including Slayer, but our roots probably are more Motorhead than Venom, or maybe a mixture of them. We have, and of course him as a guitarist. I think at that time he liked Blackmore, Faster Lee Clark, Randy Rhoads. He was liking a very particular guitarist. In fact, his writing is not exactly like Venom and Motorhead. It's something, you can find some Randy Rhoads, some Blackmore, some many influences. So to be targeted, to be, let's say, labeled like Venom clones, I think it's okay, but it's not. It's a limit, It's not exactly. We are not copying. We didn't copy anything from Venom, actually. Maybe the way to sing a little bit, but I started singing following Lemmy. Actually, Lemmy is my first influence. Yeah.
And in 2004, you released the Eroticus book.
Yeah.
And how was for you to produce this book, to write, to, for example, have separate the pictures, something like that? And how was the response to this book? I have the Spanish version I bought last year in Setembro Negro tour.
Yeah. I mean, the book was firstly released in Italy, in Italian, but the version was kind of very simple with a few pictures, and we have a lot of following in Poland. So a Polish publisher asked to translate in Polish. So they made the same
in Spanish
version in Polish. And when I saw, I was, oh, that's great. I loved it. So I asked some people to translate in English and in Spanish, because of course we have following in the United States, and we have a big following in Latin America.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's why I wanted to, and yeah, it's that's how, and we are distributing. Unfortunately, that book, the version we have here, it's very heavy, so it's kind of difficult to fly with,
the hate.
You put 10 books and you already have, 10 kilos. It's so heavy that. So I don't know. Maybe one day, if someone wants to make a Portuguese,
It would be great.
yeah, maybe with simpler version, with same picture but not so heavy. I mean, the Polish publication is very, it's beautiful, but it's very heavy. So.
But I liked it so much because it was beautiful, and I liked your personal way to write it.
Yeah.
And for me, that I'm a die-hard fan, the pictures that you have, very hard pictures about Bulldozer history and your personal history.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, we happen to do many things in our lives. We also did many works for Japan, for animation, so there are a lot of experience in that book. So yeah, and that's kind of a philosophy book where
Really?
yeah, because I believe you should find your own way. You don't have to follow a path which has been designed or been created by other people.
Mm-hmm.
I think every person should find his way. And I was, and he wrote a chapter, in the book.
Mm-hmm.
When I heard for the first time talking about Bulldozer, it was '82. I was not in the band, and I was in a music store, and the guy said, "Oh, Bulldozer, they are fucking loser, because they make noise. They are not real musicians, blah 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 blah." And I remember that, and then I met him, and he introduced me the band, and I went to see them playing. I said, that's a great band. So I bet on someone who apparently was a loser, but actually Bulldozer is the only band in Italy who had an international deal in the 80s. So, I mean, we were probably the last in Milano, but we did maybe the most important things in the 80s worldwide. So it doesn't mean if you're labeled as a loser, it doesn't mean you are a loser. You can be maybe the best,
Yes.
That's the philosophy of my book.
I agree with you. So we are ending up the interview. Thank you so much, Andy and AC, for your attention. The last word for our audience, please.
Enjoy the good music, and I'm very honored to be here in Brazil. Thank you very much for your feelings, for your support.
And
Obrigado.
Thank you so much. Stay Loudness.